4.52 speedster Shiloh Sanders gives emotional justification after refusing to race with his father Coach Prime being Coach P. Rhyme's son, and Shedeur Sanders' brother definitely comes with its perks. It puts you in the spotlight, and the draft buzz follows. While Shiloh Sanders is often mentioned as a potential late-round pick or even a free agent, he's not just riding on his family name. He's got the speed to back it up. Yes, at the NFL Combine, Shiloh showcased his quickness with a 4.52 in the 40-yard dash on his first attempt, followed by a 4.59 on his second. Although his fastest time would have outpaced four safeties at the event, the slower time tied for the worst. But one thing's clear, Shiloh has the speed to turn heads. And now, as the pregame festivities celebrated the jersey retirements of Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, the Buffs were ready to take the field for their annual spring game. With key players like Sanders and Hunter moving on, the Buffs are undergoing major changes in several positions. However, the spring game, a 45-minute scrimmage followed by some 7-on-7 drills, may not provide all the answers, but it did reiterate one thing: Shiloh Sanders a cheetah. But in a playful twist, he refused to race against his father, Coach Prime, showing he's got the quickness, but not the desire to challenge his dad. Just yet. In an April 19th episode of Well Off Media, when a reporter playfully asked Shiloh Sanders about racing his dad, Coach Prime, Shiloh fired back with confidence, saying, "I ran fast. I ran so fast, you don't want that smoke." But the playful banter didn't stop there. Shiloh went on to say, "I'm getting more in conditioning shape, so I'll him run out." Then, with a touch of raw emotion, Shiloh added, "Okay, it's too easy. You can't beat your own dad. You know he's safe." So, the competitive spirit is real, but it's clear, Shiloh knows who's the boss. Look, Coach Prime's 40-yard dash time at the 1989 NFL Combine has become legendary, with reports clocking him anywhere from 4.21 to 4.33 seconds. Either way, the man was fast, arguably the fastest ever to grace the Combine. That speed wasn't just a number, it defined his career. As a cornerback and return specialist, Coach Prime took the NFL by storm, earning 8 Pro Bowl selections and 2 Super Bowl championships. Now, his son, Shiloh Sanders, is looking to make his own mark. But one thing's for sure, when it comes to speed, Coach Prime set the bar, and no one can outpace him. Not even his own son. To be honest, the boss is still the boss, but don't get it twisted, Shiloh Sanders is built different. The 2025 draft-eligible safety has battled, transferred, and balled out across 3 programs: South Carolina, Jackson State, and Colorado. At 6 foot, 195 pounds, he brings toughness, range, and swagger. He led CU with 67 tackles and 4 forced fumbles last season, finishing his college career with 184 tackles and 6 picks. Right now, scouts are talking, and teams like the Ravens, Steelers, and Giants are listening. Honestly, with his grit and game-changing ability, Shiloh isn't just Deion's son, he's a late-round sleeper with serious bite. But could Shiloh become part of a package deal with his brother in New Orleans? It sounds wild, but not impossible. The Saints hold 9 picks, including multiple in the later rounds, making room for a bold move. Their safety depth is razor-thin, and at 33, Tyrann Mathieu can't hold the back end forever. Now, Shiloh brings speed, swagger, and serious upside. He's a playmaker in his own right. Add in the need for a long-term answer at safety, and suddenly, drafting Shiloh doesn't feel so far-fetched. The Sanders legacy could be marching into the Big Easy. 2 brothers, 1 spotlight. While Shiloh Sanders works to carve out his NFL path, his off-field journey has taken a sharp turn. Shiloh Sanders' financial status. In late 2023, Shiloh Sanders filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, aiming to erase a nearly $12 million judgment tied to a high school incident. But that move sparked a new wave of turbulence. The spotlight quickly shifted to his nil earnings, with the court demanding full disclosure. His legal team pushed back, calling it private business. Still, the court wants answers. It's a quiet off-field saga that could end up playing a key role in shaping his NFL draft story. Although it's a surprising twist for a player with one of the strongest brands in CFB. Shiloh Sanders isn't just a safety, he's a walking endorsement deal. From stars to actively black, Tint My Ride, and more, his nil portfolio is stacked. He's built for the spotlight, and sponsors know it. But when the money rolls in fast, so can the financial missteps. Don't worry, Shiloh's not slowing down. He keeps grinding on the field, while staying camera-ready off it, appearing in national ads, and keeping his social media buzz alive. However, insiders said Coach Prime stepped in, helping Shiloh tighten the playbook off the field. Look, bankruptcy wasn't a final whistle, it was a halftime reset. And for Shiloh, it might have been the pivot that set up his next big win. Julian Lewis sends emotional message to Shedeur Sanders as CUQB clears feelings on Kaidon Salter. Well, Julian Lewis didn't just ease into the black and gold spring game. He exploded the scene. The former five-star recruit arrived in Boulder, generating significant buzz, and immediately proved he's a contender in Colorado's quarterback competition. He's neck and neck with Liberty transfer Kaidon Salter, both vying for the starting role, but Lewis made sure he tipped his cap to the guy who lit up the path for him, Shedeur Sanders. And he made sure that the torch didn't drop cold before lobbing it around Folsom Field. Julian Lewis made sure he watched Shedeur Sanders like a hawk, and for that, he even joined them for pre-Alamo Bowl practices. Not only did he watch Shedeur closely, but he also saw how they prepared, and that's what turned things around for him. As he talks about it during his first spring game as a Buff in a press conference, it helped a lot getting to see Shedeur, like going to his last game. You know, seeing the preparation that it takes to be successful on the field. That game didn't go how we wanted to, but just getting to see him move around and get ready for his final college as a spectator like this, said Julian Lewis. But even with a smooth transition, the spring game updates aren't that great. The passing game struggled in a 45-minute scrimmage, and both QBs had more downs than UPS. Shocking, right? In his first college scrimmage, Julian Juju Lewis showed nerves, relying heavily on short passes and missing deeper throws. Several overthrows and offensive miscues highlighted a freshman still finding his footing. Kaidon Salter didn't dominate either, struggling with the option offense, particularly with running back Christian Sarum. Their timing was off. However, Salter unleashed the day's best throws when given time, showcasing his potential. The starting quarterback competition remains undecided. Neither quarterback revealed their full arsenal, leaving the race open heading into summer. So, for now, things are pretty unclear. But their defense shone the most. Star DE Arden Walker ensured quarterback Lewis was untouched on the opening drive of the scrimmage. Sure, there are some areas the nation's 56th recruit and number 7 quarterback from Georgia needs to make improvements in, but for now, things look pretty decent post-Shedeur and Travis Hunter era, especially after Deion Sanders made things pretty clear on Julian Lewis's redshirting status in 2025. Yes, there are reports talking about him getting redshirted in 2025, but that's not going to be the case. That's not our plan. That's not his plan, but if it happens, it happens, Deion Sanders said. If he sustains an injury that puts him in that situation, but you never know. I mean, the guy could be a 2, or he could be a 1. I don't think we're going to put him in a box like that. We're not doing that. With Juju's situation resolved, the quarterback competition in Boulder is likely to intensify. Julian Lewis bold revelation on Kaidon Salter. Well, the quarterback battle is in full swing this offseason. And both Julian Lewis and Kaidon Salter are making sure this spring season does wonders for at least one of them. But for now, both are making a strong impact. They're getting better and better, Coach Prime said. They're starting to understand the system. It's tougher on offensive coordinator, Pat Shermer, and our offensive coaches because you have 2 different types of quarterbacks. Deion Sanders further adds up to it, saying, you're pretty much calling in 2 different offenses. When this guy's in, you call it this way. When this guy's in, you called it that way. Looks like it's going to be a tough call for them. It's not your average quarterback duel, where you expect flaring tempers and potential conflicts on the sidelines. Forget the drama. Here they are, straight up grinding with a sense of brotherhood. And Julian Lewis even shares a good bond with Kaidon Salter. As Buffs reporter Scott Proctor hits X describing their camaraderie, Julian talks about it and says, Julian Lewis calls Kaidon Salter Big Bro. He's been there and done that. Well, it looks like the competition fans want to see something that doesn't exist at all. Since the start of the spring practice, Lewis has expressed his desire to learn the offense more and has enjoyed his time with Kaidon and other QBs. Honestly, just to grow and get stronger, learn the offense. Of course, Everybody thinks it is a quarterback battle and stuff like that, but we have such great quarterbacks in the room and such great personalities, said Juju. And that's exactly what he is doing. Look, last year Kaidon Salter played with Liberty, finishing the season with 1,886 passing yards and 15 TDs, but he also threw 16 interceptions. And after Shedeur Sanders, the team needs a QB who can be a leader and take them through the playoffs. That's the reason Deion Sanders made it pretty clear that I don't even know who's going to be that guy right now anyway. So I don't have the propensity to do it because I don't know. They got to perform with consistency. So, for now, the battle for the starting position is still on, and there's no way the team is going to settle for less.